I came home early on my birthday with a chocolate cake in one hand and a cheap bottle of wine in the other. I was smiling like a fool. Lena loved surprises. At least I thought she did. The house was not dark. Soft music played from upstairs. I frowned and called out, "Lena?" No answer. Then I heard a man laugh. My fingers tightened around the cake box. For one stupid second, I told myself I was confused. Maybe the TV was on. Maybe her cousin stopped by. Maybe I was already making trouble in my head. Then I heard her voice. Low, breathless, intimate. My heart gave one hard pound, then seemed to stop. I walked upstairs, slow, calm, so calm it scared me. The bedroom door was half open. I pushed it. Lena gasped. Damien Cross rolled away from her like he had been burned. My wife dragged the sheet over herself with shaking hands. "Ethan?" I stood there and looked at them. Damien cleared his throat. "This isn't—" I set the cake on the floor. The plastic knife and paper candle slid inside the box. The wine bottle nearly slipped from my hand, but I held on. "Ethan, please," Lena said. "Please say something." I looked at the blue dress on the chair, the one I bought her last spring. I looked at my birthday card on the dresser, still sealed. I looked at Damien's watch, his shoes, his smug face trying to turn human. He sat up. "Man, listen!" I turned and walked out. "Ethan!" Lena screamed behind me. Her bare feet hit the floor. I heard them slap against the hallway wood. "Ethan, stop!" I picked up my keys from the bowl near the stairs. "Please," she said, voice cracking. "Please look at me." I opened the front door. Damien shouted from upstairs, "Let her explain." That almost made me laugh. Lena grabbed my arm. "It's not what you think." I finally looked at her. Her hair was a mess. Her face was wet. There was a red mark on her neck. It was exactly what I thought. I pulled my arm free without a word and left. I drove until the city lights thinned and the roads turned empty. My phone kept ringing. Lena, 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 then Mara, then Lena again. I did not answer anyone. I stopped once for gas around 3 a.m. The station bathroom smelled like bleach and old smoke. I splashed water on my face and looked in the mirror. I knew my own eyes, but not the man behind them. "What happened to you?" I whispered. A minute later, Mara banged on the bathroom door. "Ethan, are you in there?" I opened it. She stared at me. "Oh my God, I'm fine. You look like a ghost." "Maybe that's easier." She grabbed my wrist and pulled me outside. Lena called me crying. She said you walked in on something. I came because she sounded scared, but now I'm scared for you. I leaned against my car. Dawn was turning the sky gray. Mara asked softly, "Was it true?" I nodded. "With who?" "Damien Cross." Her mouth fell open. "Her client, Damien?" "Apparently not just a client. Ethan." She exhaled hard. "I want to kill them both." I shook my head. "Come home," she said. "No. You can't just disappear." "I can for one night." She looked at me for a long moment. I had suspicions. That hit harder than I expected. "What?" "I didn't know, I swear, but every time I came by, she acted weird about her phone. And that guy showed up too often. I wanted to tell you, but I had no proof." I stared at the gas station lights. "So everyone saw cracks but me." "Don't do that." "Do what?" "Turn her betrayal into your shame." I laughed once. It sounded wrong. "Too late." Mara stepped closer. "Go home and confront her." "If I speak now," I said, "I'll say things I can't take back." Maybe she deserves that. Maybe. But I don't want to spend the rest of my life remembering the worst thing I ever said instead of the worst thing she ever did. Mara rubbed her arms against the cold. "Then what are you going to do?" I looked east, where the sun was trying to rise. "I'm going to listen." "To what?" "To every lie she tells me." By noon, I went back. Lena was sitting at the kitchen table in one of my sweaters. Her eyes were swollen. A wrapped gift sat beside her coffee mug. The second I stepped in, she stood. "Thank God." I put my keys down. She started crying again. "I'm so sorry." I said nothing. "It just happened." I looked at her. She flinched. "Okay, not just once. I mean, it got out of hand." Still nothing. She pressed both hands to her face. "Say something, Ethan. Yell at me. Call me names. Don't just stand there." "How long?" I asked. She dropped her hands. "What? How long?" "A few weeks." I held her gaze until she looked away. "A few months," she whispered. I nodded once. It didn't mean anything. then why risk everything for nothing? She opened her mouth, then closed it. I was lonely, she said. I almost asked what she thought marriage was. Instead, I said, lonely people talk, liars sneak. She cried harder. You were never here. I was at work. You were tired all the time. I was building a life for us. You stopped seeing me. And you solved that by helping another man touch you in my bed? Her face broke. Don't say it like that. How should I say it? She sat down hard. I made a mistake. I looked at the gift box. No. You made plans. For the first time, she had no answer. I moved into the guest room that afternoon. The house changed shape around us. Every room felt staged. Every picture on the wall looked fake. Lena followed me to the door with one of my pillows in her arms. You don't have to sleep in here. I do. We can fix this. No, you can explain it. That's different. She stood in the doorway as I took shirts from my closet. I love you. I kept folding clothes. Please believe that. Love without honesty is just hunger, I said. That night, I heard her crying in our room. I did not go to her. The next morning, I noticed things I had ignored for months. A gold necklace in her jewelry tray that I never bought. 2 dinner charges on nights she told me she ate with Nina. A hotel receipt in the trash with the corner torn off. Hidden messages lighting her tablet screen. When she went to shower, the tablet buzzed again. A voice message. Damien. I pressed play. His smooth voice filled the room. Don't panic. Your husband looked half dead anyway. Give him a day. Men like Ethan always come back when they calm down. Call me when he leaves for work. I miss your mouth. I stared at the screen until it went black. Planned, repeated, shameless. Lena stepped out of the bathroom in her robe and saw the tablet in my hand. Her face drained. Ethan, I set it on the dresser and walked past her. Please, she said, grabbing my sleeve. Please let me explain. I looked at her hand until she let go. Then I walked to the kitchen, where my birthday gift still sat unopened on the table like a joke with a bow on top. I left it there for 3 days. The next morning, she tried softness. She made coffee and set the mug by my hand. I know you hate me. I looked at the steam rising from the cup. No, hate is loud. This is quieter than hate. Her lips trembled. That hurts. I almost said good. Instead, I pushed the mug back. That night, she stood in the guest room doorway wearing the red sleep shirt I used to love. Do you remember our trip to the lake? She asked. Yes. We stayed up all night talking. Yes. You told me I was your safest place. My throat tightened, but my voice stayed flat. And you proved I was wrong. She started crying again. I keep waiting for you to break something. I did, I said, just not in this house. On the 3rd day, she placed the wrapped gift in front of me and said, Open it, please. I bought it before everything got ugly. I looked at the silver paper, the neat ribbon, the fake care in every fold. That's the problem, Lena. Everything was ugly. I just didn't know it yet. She sank into the chair across from me. Tell me what to do. Tell the truth, I said. I am. That means you still don't understand what truth is. On the 4th morning, Mrs. Alvarez from next door knocked with a plate of sweetbread. You look thin already, she said. I'm fine. No man says that and means it. She placed the plate on the counter. Sit. I sat. She studied my face. Pain makes people loud or dangerous. Be careful which one you become. I don't feel loud. That is why I said dangerous. I almost smiled. Later that day, I went back to work. Half the office went quiet when I walked in. Maybe I looked bad. Maybe rumors moved faster than I did. I kept my head down until Victor Hale saw me before I even reached my office. He closed the door behind me. Who died? Not who. What? He waited. My marriage. Victor nodded slowly. And what do you want now? Justice. Careful. Men often use that word when they mean revenge. Maybe I mean both. He leaned back in his chair. Revenge can make you feel powerful for an hour. Healing is harder and quieter. I'm not ready to heal. No, he said. You're ready to think. That's still better than bleeding in public. He slid a glass of water toward me. Listen carefully. Hurt people do foolish math. They think if they can cause equal pain, the scale goes back to balance. It never does. So what do I do? You decide what kind of man walks out of this. I laughed without humor. I don't even know what kind of man walked in. Victor held my gaze. Then start there. Protect your name. Protect your money. Protect your mind. Don't chase scenes. Chase facts. I nodded slowly. And Ethan? He added. What? If she starts crying about how broken she is, remember that broken people still make choices. When I got home, Lena was waiting by the stairs. She had changed tactics. No tears. Soft voice, bare feet, my favorite perfume. "Can we have dinner?" she asked. "No." "Can we talk?" "No." "You're punishing me." "I'm protecting myself." "You're acting like I'm a stranger." I met her eyes. "That's because I found one in my bedroom." She flinched. That night she tried anger. "So this is it? Silent treatment until I crawl?" I kept reading a document. She slapped the paper from my hand. "Fight for us." I stood up so fast she stepped back. "Do not ask me to fight for what you handed away." Her eyes filled again. "I'm still your wife." "Then start acting like someone worth grieving." The words landed. She went quiet. 2 days later, Nina texted me from an unknown number. "Can we meet alone? You need the truth." I met her at a small cafe after work. She looked sick with nerves. "Why are you here?" I asked. "Because I should have spoken sooner." "How long did you know?" She twisted her cup. "I knew they were too close. Then I knew it was an affair." "Months, Ethan." I sat very still. She kept going like she was punishing herself. "People noticed. Not everyone knew for sure, but enough suspected. Some stayed out of it. Some thought you'd never leave Lena. Some were afraid of Damien." "So I was the joke." "No," she said quickly. "You were the decent one in a room full of cowards." That should have helped. It didn't. Nina looked down. "There's more. Damien does this. Married women, engaged women, any woman who makes him feel powerful. Lena wasn't special to him." I let that settle in my chest like ice. "He told her he'd invest in her design business," Nina said. "He got her to move money around, credit cards, a private account. She thinks he's helping her. He's using her." I asked, "How bad?" "I don't know everything, but bad enough that she's scared." I went home and opened the gift at last. Inside was a silver watch, engraved, "To more time together." I laughed for the first time since my birthday. It sounded empty. Then I called a lawyer. "Jade Mercer?" the woman answered. "My name is Ethan Vale. I need to protect myself before my wife's disaster becomes mine." Her voice turned sharp and clear. "Do not move joint money yet. Gather statements, house records, tax files, messages, timeline, everything." I already started. "Good," she said. "Then you're ahead of the panic stage." I stepped into the hallway so Lena would not hear. "If she signed anything with him, can it hit me too?" "Depends on what she used, whose name is attached, and how fast we untangle it," Jade said. "Did she hide debt?" "I think so." "Then stop asking what she feels and start asking what she signed." I wrote every word down. Jade kept going. "Passwords?" I changed mine. "Good. Insurance?" "I can pull it tonight." "Do it. And Ethan, no threats over text, no dramatic emails, no social media speeches. Quiet wins cases. Quiet wins cases." I repeated it to myself after the call ended. It felt colder than comfort, but cleaner too. That evening, I spread papers across the dining table. Bank statements, credit reports, old invoices. Lena walked in halfway through and stopped. "What are you doing?" "Learning." "About what?" "About my marriage, about your spending, about how expensive lies can get." She pressed a hand to her mouth. "You think I used you. I think you used my trust like a blank check." She backed up a step. "I never wanted this. But you built it anyway." That night, I also called Caleb, a friend I had not seen in years. He answered with a laugh. "You alive?" "Barely." He grew serious at once. "Where are you?" "At home." "Then I'm coming over." He arrived with burgers and no questions for the first 10 minutes. Then he said, "You used to fill a room, man. When did you start shrinking?" I stared at the table. Around the time I started confusing peace with silence. "Then get your size back." Lena came in and stopped when she saw him. "Who's this?" Caleb stood. "A witness that he has people." After he left, she stared at me. "You're changing." "Yes." Her voice shook. "Are you leaving me?" I looked at her for a long time. "I'm not deciding whether to forgive you. I'm deciding whether there's anything left of us to bury." Before Owen ever called, Mara came by with a folder and a look I knew too well. "What's that?" I asked. "Screenshots," she said. "A friend of mine knows someone at Damien's office. He flirts on company channels like an idiot." I took the folder. My stomach twisted. "You didn't have to do this." "Yes, I did." She sat across from me. "You spent years carrying everyone. Let someone carry part of this for once. I looked through the pages, Damien teasing receptionists, late-night messages, hints, careless patterns. Mara watched me. You okay? No. That's honest, at least. I set the folder down. The worst part is that I still hear her laugh in this house and remember normal days. Mara reached over and squeezed my hand. Missing the lie doesn't mean it was real. I breathed out slowly. You should write fortune cookies. She snorted. You should charge people for your silence. It's terrifying. A week later, Owen Pike called. I'm Damien's business partner, he said. I know who you are. I hear there's trouble. There is. He lowered his voice. Then you should know Damien has been mixing personal favors with company money. If your wife is involved, she may get burned. Why tell me? Because I'm tired of cleaning up after him. That same evening, Damien called from a private number. I answered. He laughed. Still playing the silent husband? What do you want? To tell you not to get dramatic. Lena came to me. Don't act like I stole church silver. You sound nervous. His laugh died. Careful. With what? With things you don't understand. I leaned back in my chair. That's the problem, Damien. I understand enough now. He went quiet. Then he said, whatever you think you know, keep my name out of your mouth. I hung up. The next morning, Lena walked into the kitchen pale and shaking. Did you hear? Hear what? Damien's company is being audited. Someone leaked records. Investors are pulling out. I looked at my coffee. She whispered, he won't answer me. Of course not. Tears filled her eyes. He said he cared about me. I finally looked up. No. He cared that you were willing to betray someone who loved you. That made you easy. She broke then. Really broke. She sat on the floor and cried so hard she could barely breathe. I ruined everything, she said. Yes, I answered. You did. For a while, the only sound in the room was her crying and the hum of the refrigerator. Then she said, I kept thinking I could stop whenever I wanted. You should have wanted to. I know. No, I said quietly. Now you know. Then you only wanted not to get caught. She covered her face. That's true. It was the first clean truth I had heard from her in days, and it almost made me angry all over again. She looked up with swollen eyes. Do you ever miss me? I thought about the woman I married, the one who danced in the kitchen and stole fries from my plate and fell asleep with one cold foot pressed against my leg. Then I thought about the woman who looked me in the face and said it meant nothing. I miss who I thought you were, I said. She closed her eyes like I had struck her. Was any of it real? She asked. Yes, I said. For me. When I packed the last box, she stood by the door with red eyes and trembling hands. Please don't go like this, she whispered. How should I go? Angry, loud, anything but this. I taped the box shut. This is all that's left. She wiped her face. I liked feeling wanted. I liked secrets. I liked thinking I still had power. And now? Now I feel disgusting. I nodded. That sounds honest. She let out a broken laugh that turned into a sob. Why didn't you scream at me? I picked up the box. Because losing me was always going to be louder. I moved into a small apartment across town. Clean walls, quiet mornings, one coffee cup in the sink instead of two. The first night there, the silence felt honest instead of cruel. I sat on the floor because I had not unpacked the chairs yet. Caleb called. You survive move-in day? He asked. Barely. I own 3 forks and too many regrets. He laughed. Good. Regrets are easier to replace than furniture. I looked around the bare room. It doesn't feel like victory. It isn't, he said. It's a beginning. People confuse those all the time. After we hung up, I stood at the window and realized nobody in that apartment expected me to explain away another person's betrayal. That alone felt like oxygen. A month later, I visited Mrs. Alvarez before work. She handed me tea and studied my face. You look different, she said. I am. Harder? Clearer. She smiled. Better. Damien lost his company role before winter. Lena lost friends, money, and whatever story she had told herself about being trapped instead of selfish. I heard bits of it through Mara, through Nina, through the city that always enjoys a fall. But the strangest part was this. Their collapse stopped mattering after a while. One cold morning, I opened my drawer and found the silver watch again. To more time together. I held it in my palm, then set it back down. Not anymore, I said. Then I closed the drawer, picked up my keys, and walked into a life that finally belonged to me for good.